Recently, I've recorded several videos about selling your company, and it's something that I've thought about for years. I mean, from different experiences I've had in business, this goes all the way back to mid 2000s in terms of experience in selling your business or in thinking about it. So it's a topic that I'm very aware of, and it's a topic that affects both the very small business owner and the multi-million dollar business owner, because in both cases you're thinking about it. Many times it's the dream of both, the small guy and the big guy, and the little guy, a lot of times in the middle of being frustrated and burned out and worn out, dreams of the day he can walk away from, or she can walk away from their business, and the bigger guy might have those exact same dreams. Because as you get bigger, your problems don't necessarily go away. You just have different problems. And I think that it's an important topic to think about no matter where you're at in business, and even when you're small. And the reason for that is, as you build your company, if you're building just to sell, you build your company completely different. And you work on your business in a completely different way if you're going to build it to sell it. You're more worried about building top line revenue and growing profit as fast as you can. Whereas in my opinion, if you're building your company to keep it, it's not that you don't, well, let me first say it. If you're building your company to keep it, you're more worried about culture and people and procedures and systems and things of that sort. Not that you don't worry about those things when you're building your company to sell it, because all of those things help you get your company sold and maximize price. Yet you just think about things at a different level. You want to make sure when you're going to keep your company that you're still going to want this thing in 5 or 10 years. Whereas when you're building it to sell it, you might mentally let certain things go and say, I don't care. That's going to sort of be the next person's problem. Whether you directly use those words, that's sort of a mindset. I said all of that to lead into a point. And that point is, I was talking with someone that I'm friends with that's very successful, has built multiple very successful businesses, and is at a point where he can take off for 1 or 2 months at a time easily. And I'm not at that point anymore because of Service Autopilot. I couldn't be gone for 2 months, whereas this individual can. And what he has observed in being gone for quite a period of time is it gets pretty boring, because all of your best friends still have jobs. They're still working. You can't just call them up. They're in the middle of their life. They can't necessarily just take off and travel. They might have kids, or maybe you have kids and your kids are going through school. Your kids have sports. So what he has observed, and he's talked to other individuals and observed the same thing, and actually I've had friends that have told me this as well, that the idea of selling, walking away, not really having much to do sounds wonderful, but the reality of it is, once you do that, what do you do? Who do you do it with? Everybody else has still got a job and everybody else is still working, and not everybody else can get away. So I say all of this because I think, back to what I said in the beginning, you need to know from the beginning, are you building to sell or are you building to keep? And you may change your mind, but you at least need to know up front, because if you're building it to sell, then you're going to do things different than if you're building it to keep. And what if eventually you have the realization that, you know what, maybe selling isn't as great as I thought it would be. Maybe I should more focus on building a great company, one that can run itself. Maybe I should focus a little bit more on solving some of these problems in my business instead of ignoring them, because I think they're going to become somebody else's problem down the road. So my point of the video is to consider and maybe try to look at, if you were to sell the company, meaning that you're not going to work as hard on building a great company that you'll own in 10 years. If you're building it to just sell it, what will you do when you actually sell the company? And if there's a way that you can experience that and find out for yourself, I think that might change your attitude on selling. The other thing about this is, I have known a number of people that have sold their companies and become very bored very quickly. And in most cases, they sold their company and within a couple of years were disappointed that they had. Even though they made a lot of money, they miss being in the game. They miss having the friendships. They miss being challenged. They miss all of that. So twofold. One, try to figure out for yourself exactly what would you really do if you sold this thing and you had 3, 5, 6 months, a year to do nothing. What exactly would you be doing in your life? So is that really something you want? And two, once you have that answer, what might you change within your business, the way you're doing things or the problems you're not solving, so that you do love this company that you keep 10 years from now?